guys, Eric here again with another video. This time I'm doing something from another video game, believe it or not. Last time we looked at Aridin. This time we're looking at a character from a different video game series. If you don't recognize this character, this is actually Kratos, as he appears in God of War 3. This figure is honestly very, very beautiful. You guys can just see how freaking nice he looks. The paint, the sculpting on this thing is amazing. He looks straight from the video game. There are a few things I have a little bit of a problem with, but apart from that, this figure is honestly a masterpiece. So before I get too much into the figure, let's look at that box. So here we're back with the box, and I know NECA doesn't really make figures like this anymore. It's from the Player Select line. You can see their official licensed product from PlayStation. God of War 3, Kratos, Ghost of Sparta. Again, guys, I apologize for my ring light. Sony, nothing on the side. God of War 3. You can see the read-ups in the back. Again, guys, really sorry for the ring light. It's just how I light stuff up. You can see there, this is like they're recreating poses from the video game. A little bit better right there. You can see that everybody who made it, 2016. This figure is quite old, but it still holds up. It's everything it comes with. 31 points of articulation, the 2 heads, 2 blades of Athena, 2 Nemean Cestus, the boots of Hermes, excuse me. You can see there a little read up for him. They're recreated in-game photos, I think, with the figure. You can see on the side what you can do with him. Open it up a little bit. This is like the Da Vinci type of thing where it shows you his articulation, and that's where the figure would be. Now let's take a closer look at the figure. So before we look at the figure, I thought we should take a look at the accessories real quick, just so you guys know what it comes with. And his most iconic accessories of all, of course, are the 2 blades of chaos. These things are done really, really nice. You can see they're actually transparent. If you guys didn't know that, they're done in a nice clear orange plastic. It looks just like the game. You can see this demon head right here. Nice sculpted chain. A little bit more chain on that side. You can see that. Really, really nice sculpted detail. Same thing on the other side. See that. Nice paint on there. And not only does it come with these, it also comes with an alternate head. And I'll show you guys how to put these on in a second. You can see that. And this thing looks just straight out of the video game. You can see a very angry vein. Really nice sculpted detail and painted detail. Scar on his face, signature red mark, and his goatee down there. And he does come with 2 Nemean Cestus gauntlets. He does get these from Hercules. These things are pretty heavy, and this is one of my complaints that I will talk about later. You can see there, these things are very, very nicely detailed. Gigantic. You can see the inside. I'll show you guys how to put these on in a second, guys. Don't worry. This is a very dull, dull silver, very dirty silver color. Brownish silver. You can see that. Nice lion heads. And now for how to use these things. First of all, I'll show you guys how to use the Blades of Chaos. So I brought him up closer here just to show you how to put him on. Before I talk about his detail, I'll show you guys real quick. Take the Blade of Chaos here and just put it in. Admittedly, it's pretty hard because his hands are very tight plastic, but it can be done. Can I do this? There you go. There's one Blade of Chaos. Now let's put in the other. There he is with both Blades of Chaos in his hands. You know, he looks very nice, just like the video game. Very menacing poses you can get out of him. I definitely like to have him in just a vanilla pose, but he looks like it. And actually, he does come with something else. This forearm piece is removable, and that is for the next accessory, which I'll show you right now, the Nemean Cestus. So like I said earlier, this little piece comes off from the golden fleece. It actually does come unequipped because it's easier to put his Nemean Cestus gauntlets on, which I'll show you how right now. So I don't think these really have a side, but I usually put this facing forward. It actually does. There's an R in there for his right side, so I'm assuming that's this one over here. And these honestly just plug into his arm like so. They really held on with tension just like that. It does fit on his hands like that. And for the other one, do just connect in there like so. there you go. Now you have him with his Nemean cestus. Admittedly, these are very heavy, and it's hard to get him to stand without a stand. This does not come with the figure. It's a McFarlane stand, but I've been using it throughout the review just to get him to stand up because he does have some balancing issues. But that's what he looks like with the Nemean cestus. Admittedly, very fierce, ready for battle Kratos. Now that we looked at the accessories, let's take a little closer look at the figure's details and articulations. Now that we've taken a closer look at the figure, I can show you, or at his accessories, I can show you to put this piece back on. Honestly, it just fits into that hole right there. You see that? Just in there like so. And this figure actually does have a feature I didn't talk about. One more accessory. This back piece, it just does come off. And this is for storing the blades of Athena. Get a closer look at how you do that. So not only does this Kratos look really nice, but it does articulate incredibly well. This being part of the NECA Player Select series, it is made with our incredible articulation. The head does move up and down, side to side, a full 360, honestly. No, it does. We just did it. It's due to that peg ball joint that we saw earlier. The arms go a full 360. It's a little bit impeded on this side by his golden fleece right here, but he can go full 360. Arms go out about that high on both sides due to the sculpt of the shoulder. He does have a little bit of an upper bicep swivel, and it's a little bit hard to move past this point any farther, and it feels like, can you guys hear that? It feels like I'm forcing the plastic, and I just usually keep it right here, you know, honestly. Just got a double jointed elbow that does work really well, even with all this sculpt on both sides. Even with the golden fleece, it still does move very well. The hand does do a full 360 on both sides, along with a little hinge action right there. His ab joint does work very well, very far forward, very far back. Speaking of abs, you can see the scar that he got from Zeus at the end of God of War 2. Spoiler alert. He does have a slight waist swivel. It's a little bit impeded by his skirt, but it does, you know, does work a little bit. Legs do go forward, back, out. Mostly this side, honestly. This one's very impeded by his skirt, like I said again. And the legs seem to move in conjunction with one another. Not only that, but the joints are incredibly loose straight out the box. It is what it is, you know, like this shoulder is incredibly loose. I mean, it is what it is. Going back to the articulation, he has an upper thigh swivel, double jointed knees on both sides that work very well. Not impeded at all by the boots of Hermes. The feet do a little bit of rotation, up and down, a little bit of ankle pivot, and a nice toe joint. The toes actually move under this whole skirt thing. You can see that right here. So that was the articulation on this Kratos. Now let's do a little bit of size comparisons. Here we have NECA Kratos with another NECA Kratos. Kratos from God of War 4. The other Kratos is just a little bit bigger. You guys can see that on camera. It looks way more gigantic on camera. It's not that bad. And it could just be because this Kratos has very loose joints. I mean, it's a little bit significant. You can see that here. So two different Kratos from two different eras. Here I have him next to another McFarlane figure, a McFarlane Azrael. And this McFarlane Azrael is actually in the 7-inch scale. This Kratos is definitely an 8-inch figure. You can see that. He towers over this Azrael. You can see a nice comparison. Let's get into some final thoughts of this figure. Going back to this figure, this has definitely been one of my favorite figures to have recently to just handle. Sadly, I do not own this figure anymore. I just recently sold it. I'm reviewing it, you know, just to get this review out, to say I had this product. But this has definitely been one of my favorite figures to hold. Some of the gripes I have are definitely these super loose joints. Like, this thing was new out of box when I bought it off eBay. It was new. Like, this thing hadn't been opened at all, right? But both shoulders are very loose along with the legs. And it's very hard to stand him. It might just be mine because the joints are very loose, but it's incredibly hard to stand him without this little base that doesn't even come with it. Probably gonna include it it's my order with the selling order. You can see I prefer to just put it a little bit over his removable Nemesis part or his golden fleece. And it's hard to make him stand with the Nemesis. They're just so heavy. You can see that, super heavy. But you know, for the most part, this figure is done insanely well. This is definitely one of the coolest and most accurate figures I've ever owned. And just for comparison's sake, I'll put him next to another video game figure. Got Airden here from Witcher 3, you know, both trilogies of their games. You can see that. They do look really cool together. And if you guys can find this for a really good deal, go for it, because these things are pretty hard to find nowadays, I've heard. Anyway, guys, that was my review. Let me know what you think. And take care, guys. Later.